Ford spent $50 billion trying to beat Tesla. Volkswagen spent another $35 billion. General Motors, BMW, Hyundai, all of them poured hundreds of billions of dollars into copying exactly what Tesla built, and every single one of them lost. Not a little, not barely. They lost badly. Ford's electric division lost over $4 billion in a single year. Volkswagen's electric car sales collapsed so hard they had to close factories in Germany for the first time in their entire history. GM canceled electric vehicle after electric vehicle after electric vehicle. So today we are going to answer one question. How does a company that started in someone's garage with no experience building cars defeat every single major car manufacturer on Earth? And why, no matter how hard they try, can none of them copy what Tesla actually did? Before we get into each company, let me give you one number that completely changes how you see this story. In 2023, Tesla made an average profit of approximately $9,500 on every single car it sold. Toyota, the most profitable traditional car company on Earth, made around $2,800 per car. Ford made less than $500 per car on a good day, and on electric vehicles specifically, Ford lost over $4,000 on every single electric car it sold. They were literally paying customers to take their cars. Tesla is not just winning the electric car race. Tesla is more profitable per vehicle than any car company on Earth, including companies that have been building cars for over 100 years. That is the real story, not the technology, the economics. Let's start with Ford, because Ford's story is both the most expensive and the most embarrassing of all of them. In 2021, Ford CEO Jim Farley stood on a stage and declared that Ford would invest $50 billion in electric vehicles by 2026. He said Ford would be the #2 electric vehicle maker in the world, behind only Tesla. The crowd cheered. The stock went up. Everyone celebrated. Then reality arrived. Ford launched the F-150 Lightning, an electric version of America's best-selling truck. It had issues, serious issues, battery fires, charging problems, production delays that stretched months. Ford had to stop production multiple times to fix safety problems. Then came the financial results. Ford's electric vehicle division, called Model E, lost $1.3 billion in 2022, then $4.7 billion in 2023, and the losses kept climbing in 2024. Ford's plan was simple. Take what Tesla built, apply it to Ford's existing vehicles, and use Ford's massive manufacturing scale to win. It did not work, because copying the product is not the same as copying the system that builds the product. Ford lost $4.7 billion in 1 year on electric cars alone. That is more money than most countries make. Do you think Ford can survive this? Yes or no? Tell me in the comments. General Motors might be the most painful story of all, because GM actually had electric cars before Tesla did. The EV1. In 1996, and 6 years before Tesla even existed, GM built and leased an electric car called the EV1. It was revolutionary. Drivers loved it. Some of them begged GM to let them buy it permanently. GM said no. In 2002, they recalled every single EV1 and crushed them. All of them. The reason? GM executives decided electric cars had no future, and diesel and gasoline would dominate forever. That decision is now considered one of the most expensive mistakes in corporate history, because while GM was crushing electric cars, a man named Elon Musk was quietly starting Tesla in a garage in California. 20 years later, GM announced they would go all electric by 2035 and invested $35 billion in the transition. They launched the Chevrolet Silverado EV, the GMC Hummer EV, the Cadillac Lyriq. Production delays, software problems, charging issues. GM's electric vehicle sales targets were missed by enormous margins. In late 2023, GM quietly cut their electric vehicle production targets and admitted the transition was taking far longer than planned. Toyota is the most interesting case, because Toyota did not just fail to copy Tesla. Toyota actively argued that Tesla was wrong for years. While Tesla was growing, while electric vehicle sales were climbing, while every other car company was panicking, Toyota's leadership publicly stated that full battery electric vehicles were not the future. Toyota's CEO Akio Toyoda called the rush to electric vehicles hype. He said hybrid vehicles were the real solution. He said the electricity grid could not support mass electric vehicle adoption. He said this in 2020, in 2021, in 2022. Meanwhile, Tesla's market share in the countries Toyota called home kept growing. China, Toyota's biggest market, went from 5% electric vehicle penetration to over 35% in just 3 years. Toyota's sales in China collapsed. Not because the cars were bad, because the market moved to electric and Toyota was not ready. By 2023, Toyota reversed course completely. New CEO, new strategy, full commitment to electric vehicles, emergency investment of $35 billion. But here's the problem with reversing course after being in denial for 5 years. You are now 5 years behind the company you were arguing against. Toyota's CEO called electric vehicles hype for years, and now Toyota is scrambling to catch up. Who do you think made the bigger mistake? Toyota for denying it, or GM for crushing their own electric cars? Okay, Ford failed, GM failed, Toyota denied and then failed. But what about the companies that actually tried hardest to copy Tesla's exact playbook? Volkswagen went all in. They launched ID4, ID3, ID Buzz, an entire lineup of electric vehicles. They invested heavily in battery technology. They built new factories. And then the sales numbers came in. In Germany, VW's home country, electric vehicle sales dropped 27% in 2024. VW announced they would close at least 3 German factories and lay off tens of thousands of workers. For a company that had never closed a German factory in its entire 87-year history, that is a crisis of historic proportions. BMW and Mercedes launched electric versions of their luxury vehicles. Beautiful cars, excellent engineering, strong brand. The problem, they cost almost as much as their gasoline equivalents, but offered fewer features and less range than a Tesla Model S that had been on the market for over a decade. Luxury buyers who wanted electric bought Tesla. Luxury buyers who wanted traditional bought gasoline BMW. BMW's electric cars fell between 2 chairs and satisfied neither audience fully. Hyundai came closest. Their Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6 won design awards. Reviewers loved them. They sold reasonably well, but reasonably well in a market Tesla dominates is still a distant second place. And Hyundai's charging network cannot compete with Tesla's supercharger network of over 50,000 global stations. Volkswagen is closing factories in Germany for the first time in 87 years because of this. Do you think European car companies can survive the electric revolution? So here's the question that this whole video is building toward. All of these companies are huge. All of them have more money than Tesla had when it started. All of them have engineering teams of thousands of people. All of them have factories, supply chains, and dealer networks that Tesla spent years trying to build from zero. So why do they keep losing? The answer is not technology. The answer is not money. The answer is incentives. Every traditional car company makes the vast majority of its profit from 2 things: selling gasoline cars and servicing gasoline cars. An electric car needs almost no servicing, no oil changes, no transmission repairs, no exhaust system replacements. An electric car is a direct financial threat to every dealership and every service department that a traditional car company depends on. So when Ford or GM or Toyota builds an electric car, they are simultaneously trying to grow one business and destroy another business that they depend on for profit. That internal conflict makes it almost impossible to go all in. It is like asking a cigarette company to aggressively market nicotine patches. The product exists. The motivation to push it as hard as possible does not. Tesla had none of this conflict. Tesla had no gasoline cars to protect, no dealerships to keep happy, no service departments losing revenue to electric powertrains. Tesla could go all in on electric because electric was all they had. But there is something even deeper than incentives, something that makes Tesla structurally impossible to copy, even if a competitor had perfect motivation and unlimited money. Tesla does not just make cars. Tesla makes the batteries that go in the cars. Tesla makes the software that runs the cars. Tesla owns the charging network the cars use. Tesla sells directly to customers with no dealers taking margin. Tesla updates every car it has ever sold through over-the-air software updates, meaning a Tesla you bought 5 years ago gets better every month for free automatically. No traditional car company controls all of these layers simultaneously. Ford buys batteries from suppliers. GM buys software from partners. BMW relies on a dealer network it does not own. Every link in their chain they do not control is a point where cost goes up and speed goes down. Tesla controls every link. That is not just an advantage, it is a different kind of company entirely. And then there is the data advantage. Over 6 million Teslas are on roads right now, sending driving data back to Tesla every single day. That data trains the full self-driving AI. Every mile driven by a Tesla owner makes the autonomous driving system smarter. Ford has electric cars on the road, but they do not have 6 million data-generating AI training machines. That gap grows wider every single month. Now here's the twist that almost nobody in the Western world is talking about. Because while Ford, GM, Toyota, VW, and BMW were all failing to copy Tesla, one company was not failing. One company looked at exactly what Tesla built, studied it carefully, and built something that genuinely competes. That company is BYD, and it is not from America, Germany, or Japan. It is from China. BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams, sold more electric vehicles than Tesla in the last quarter of 2023. More than Tesla. They make their own batteries. They develop their own software. They sell directly in China's massive domestic market. They are expanding rapidly into Europe, Southeast Asia, and South America. Their cars are competitively priced, well built, and improving fast. Here is what is fascinating about BYD's success. They did not copy Tesla's cars. They copied Tesla's strategy, vertical integration, battery control, software development, direct sales model. BYD understood that the secret was never the car. It was the system, and they built the system. Western car companies copied the product. BYD copied the philosophy. And that is the difference between losing and winning. So where does this all go from here? Because the story is not finished. It is actually just entering its most interesting chapter. Ford has announced it is scaling back electric vehicle investment and focusing on hybrids while it figures out how to make EVs profitable. That is not a recovery strategy. It is a delay strategy. The market is not waiting for Ford to figure it out. GM has similar problems and similar responses. Toyota is still behind despite its emergency reversal. Meanwhile, Tesla is not standing still. The Tesla Semi is in mass production. The Cybertruck, despite early quality issues, is the best-selling electric truck in America. Full self-driving version 13 is showing genuinely dramatic improvement. The Robotaxi, a fully autonomous vehicle with no steering wheel, is being prepared for launch. And Optimus, Tesla's humanoid robot, is working inside Tesla's own factories right now, being trained on real manufacturing tasks. Tesla is not just an electric car company competing against other electric car companies anymore. Tesla is becoming an energy company, an AI company, a robotics company, and an autonomous transportation company, all at the same time. The car companies trying to copy Tesla are still catching up to where Tesla was in 2020. Tesla in 2025 is somewhere completely different. The gap is not closing, it is widening, and the companies that bet everything on catching up to a target that keeps moving are going to find that the race ends before they reach the finish line. So here's the bottom line. Every major car company on earth looked at Tesla and said, we can do that. We have more money, we have more factories, we have more engineers, we have 100 years of experience building cars, we cannot lose. And then they lost. Not because Tesla got lucky, not because the traditional companies were bad at building cars, but because they were copying the wrong thing. They copied the product. Tesla's real advantage was never the product. It was the system, the philosophy, the vertical integration, the data, the software, and most importantly, the complete absence of any reason to hold back. Western car companies copied Tesla and still lost. BYD copied Tesla's thinking instead of Tesla's cars and came closer than anyone else. That difference between copying what something looks like and understanding why something works is the most important business lesson of the last 20 years. If this video changed the way you see the electric car industry, hit that like button right now. It takes literally 1 second and it helps this channel reach people who need to see this. Subscribe if you want more videos that go this deep on the biggest technology stories happening right now. And I have one final question for you in the comments. Which car company do you think has the best chance of actually catching Tesla? Not who you want to win, who you actually think can do it. I am reading every comment on this one. See you in the next one.